Salam, hello and welcome. Today I'm going to give the Kickstarter of this Yamaha Banshee a good tune-up. Stick around and watch it. Does your Kickstarter feel dry and stubborn like this one? And look at this amount of play. Now, if I don't address this Kickstarter and maintain it well, soon I'll face a hard time opening the liver just like that. So I'll take this out and I'll show you guys how do I maintain it. It is attached with the inner Kickstarter assembly via this bolt, so I'll have to crack this bolt loose. The size of this fastener is 12 millimeters. Now that the fastener is loose, all I have to do is to pull this lever out. Here it comes. Now, the Kickstarter liver is basically two parts. There's this upper part and then there's this lower part. What connects them together is this bolt. So I'll have to grab a Phillips screwdriver and unbolt this one. But before doing that, I'll get some wet napkins or wet wipes and clean it a little bit. It's too dirty and I like to work with the clean stuff. Now I will keep another napkin here and I will tell you in a second why. So let's start taking this apart. Alright, now here's why I kept this napkin aside. Now inside here there is a ball and there is a spring, and the ball and the spring often likes to jump. Now these are essential inner parts that I'll have to grease in a second and I'll show you how. I catch you. And now all that noise that you were hearing is because of all of this dust and dirt in there. As you can see, the inner part is too dry. This is supposed to be lubricated, but it has come to a point where it is too dry. Now that's one bit of it. The other bit is there is an O-ring here. Not too sure if you can see that. I'll grab a smaller screwdriver. Now there is an O-ring here that is supposed to prevent this movement or this play. Maybe not totally prevent it, but at least to minimize it and to prevent the metal of the upper part from hitting the metal of the lower part, and that's what makes noise with the engine RPM revs up. So it seems like this O-ring is not doing its job and we'll have to replace it. So here's the O-ring. It is out now. And as usual, I'll give it a good clean before I start working. Oof. Can you see how dirty and nasty is that stuff? Cool. Okay, what I have here is a set of O-rings that I purchased from eBay. Now these are various different sizes of O-rings, and all I need to find is an O-ring that fits in here, matches this diameter of the lower part of the Kickstarter. So this seems might be the one that does the trick. No, it's too small. This could be, this is a little bit of large or big. Right, here's the one that matches. But just looking at the thickness of the O-ring, This O-ring seems to be much thicker than this one, and I'm not sure if this is going to work, but let's give it a try and see. I thought I gave it a good clean, but apparently I did not. Checking the size of the O-ring on this part of the liver assembly. Actually, the one that seems fitting okay here, it seems a little bit large here. I'll show you this in a minute. Let me clean it first. Now, if I try to fit this in here, just like that, it actually feels large for the groove. And it seems like it needs a smaller one. So I'll get a smaller size one, and I'll try it here. So this was that. Let's try this. Yeah. This seems to be the right size. Actually, when I try to pull this in, it feels small. Anyway, I'll pull it all the way down, and I'll see how it fits. Okay, I love to use these wet wipes. They clean really nice, and I use them to clean parts and my hands and almost everything. But be careful when you use them, because they tend to leave some fluffs on the parts when you clean them, especially if they have sharp edges. Alright, now that the O-ring seems to be seated, let's see. Seems good. Only I hope that the screw will fit in with no issues. Alright, now here's what we should do. This spring lives inside this hole, and what it does is it pushes this ball, so when it comes to the stop groove, it stops the Kickstarter like that and prevent it from going by itself. So that's the normal driving position, and when you need to kick it, you open that and you start kicking it. So that's the job of the ball. Now when that stuff in there, be careful, because this ball, it likes to jump all over the room, right? So when this stuff gets dry, it starts to make noises and starts to get really difficult to pull. And the cure for this issue is a little bit of grease. It's pretty simple. So let's give it a little bit of grease. Right. This is a can of grease, and I'll give it a bit of it. Let's give it some grease. Not a lot, not all of that, definitely not all of this. Now, an important thing to do is also to grease the O-ring itself. Just keep some juice on it, so it doesn't sit there dry all the time. And I like to use these toothpicks to grease small parts like these, so that I don't have to get my hands dirty. Now let's drop the ball in, give it a little bit of grease, almost every surface of that ball. Now let's put it all together. Already feels much better. Drop the screw in. The screw seems to be jealous. It seems like it needs some grease as well. It doesn't want to go so easily. Check this out. Nice and quiet. And you remember that play? There is hardly any play. There isn't any play at all, actually. There is a rebuild kit that you can buy from your local dealership or from eBay. The kit basically includes the spring, the ball, and the O-ring. Or you can just do it the same way I did it. I mean, you don't really need to replace the spring and the ball. Very much they stay intact, nothing happens to them. All they need is a little bit of lubrication. Now, the O-ring, however, is a different story. You'll have to find an O-ring that matches your Kickstarter. But you still can do this yourself. You don't have to go and to buy the rebuild kit for the Kickstarter. Let's go and mount this back on the bike. And just like anything else, I'll give it a good clean before I fit it in, at least from this part. Before I put this bolt back, just checking the overall look and location for the Kickstarter, and it seems okay. It does not touch the clutch cover here. So I'm going to go ahead and put the screw back in its place. Let's check this out. Guys, it feels like new. It actually feels like new because when it's brand new, it never goes back fully. It stays stuck like this. I will start the engine now. I'm 99% that noise, the vibrating noise was coming from the Kickstarter, is gone now. But I'll start the engine. I'll let you guys see it and judge it by yourself. You saw that, guys. Hardly there's any movement. This thing is sticking in its place and it's not making any noise. And now you know how to rebuild your Kickstarter if you have a Yamaha Banshee or a similar bike. I think the same thing works on Yamaha Blaster and large variety of other bikes that's using a Kickstarter. So thumbs up if you like this video. Thank you guys for watching. Take care, be safe, and do it yourself.